High-Tech Legion, and we'll be taking a look at the ASUS P9X79 Deluxe Motherboard. This motherboard is built for second generation Intel Core processors, specifically the Core i7 Extreme Series Sandy Bridge E, and it is an LGA 2011 socket. ASUS does a little bit different than other motherboard manufacturers because they're using a Digi VRM. Basically, it's the Dual Intelligent Processor 3. You might be familiar with the Dual Intelligent Processor 2, which was the Digi Power Control for the CPU. But this one has also added Digi Power Control for your DRAM. Along with the motherboard, of course, we have our power control, which is a special feature of this board for the Digi VRM. We also have ASUS's own SSD caching program, which allows you to cache an SSD and a spindle drive or a mechanical drive together to get the performance boost. It has UEFI BIOS, of course, Bluetooth to go 3.0. It is the 3.0 standard, and increased bandwidth with quad channel memory that supports up to 64 gigabytes of memory. If we go ahead and take a look at the back of the box just reiterates a few things that I said: the UEFI BIOS, Digi Power Control, ASUS SSD Caching, Bluetooth to go, and of course the DIP 3. If we open the box up, on the flap, we have some more features of the board. Of course, we have the EPU, which is power saving switch. We do have ASUS's own USB 3.0 boost. We will go into that a little bit in a video in this review. They have gone to a DTS Ultra PC2 sound. Fan Expert, of course, is included. That's with the ASUS AI suite. The USB BIOS flashback, which I will show you on the board, and of course the DIP 3. If we lift up the board, you can see that there's a clear plastic panel here, and you can actually see the motherboard that's inside. So we'll go ahead and open this box, and we'll take a look inside. First, we'll take a look at the accessories, and then we'll take a look at the motherboard itself. Okay, taking a look at the accessories, of course, included with the motherboard is an I/O backplate, an SLI bridge, we have 8 SATA connectors, a 3-way SLI bridge, of course your dongle or your connector for your front panel of your case. Plug that into there, plug that into the motherboard. Very easy, something that I do like, and I think I mention this every time I do an ASUS motherboard. And we also talked about Bluetooth to go. Now there's a couple things that Bluetooth to go has on this specific board, and you'll notice that one of them is an actual Bluetooth 3.0 to go module itself. And if I could get this open, we'll get it out and I'll show it to you. This actually goes inside on the motherboard itself, and I'll show you how that goes on in a minute. And besides that, it is also wireless, so you're going to get Wi-Fi out of this. Then we have our manual with, of course, the driver disc, and an instruction booklet on how to actually use the socket, the LGA 2011 socket. It's a little bit different, it's larger. There's a specific way that Intel actually wants you to place your CPU in there and go about opening the actual plate itself up. So let's go ahead and take a look at the motherboard. As you can see, it comes nicely protected by an anti-static bag. And we take it out of the anti-static bag, we'll actually see our motherboard. Alright, so of course there's a few stickers on here, so we're going to go ahead and take a couple of these off. And of course that is going to reveal our 8 DIMM slots. This does support quad channel memory. So technically you could put up to 64 gigabytes of DDR3 quad channel memory in here. Probably a sweet spot is going to be about 32 gigs. 32 gigs are only going to cost you roughly anywhere between $200 to $250. Memory is fairly inexpensive nowadays, and since this is the enthusiast type platform, or a platform for someone who demands performance, let's call it the performance platform, you might want that memory to take advantage of all that bandwidth that it has. As per the socket itself, as you can see, it's quite large. This is an LGA 2011, and the way that they want you to open this is a little bit different. If you're used to regular Intel sockets, you know that usually you just have one clip on it, pop it open, and it comes down. This is a little bit different. They want you to open it up from here first, pull this socket out, pull this latch out, then go ahead and take the other latch, which will then drop the socket itself, revealing the brushes. Or you will pull that up since you're going to have it flat on the ground. Now you place your CPU inside of the socket and then reverse the process. So what you're going to do is you're going to reverse everything that you did there. You're going to go with that clip first, come in with this clip. Now normally I would say go ahead and pull this off prior to putting your CPU in, but Intel is stating that they want you to keep the protective cover on. Once you push that down, the CPU will actually pop it out for you. So there's no need to pull that off before installing your CPU. Now, as we go around the board, we'll go ahead and we just took a look at the memory itself. Let's take a look at the heat sinks. As you can see, they're fairly nice size heat sinks. Southbridge, PCH. You've got your PWM here, VRM up here, or MOSFET here, VRM up on top. Everything is connected via heat pipes. So you're going to get a lot of cooling out of this with this standard setup. Now when we come across the board here on the, I guess you would say if you're facing it the right side, you're going to see some fan connectors. You're going to see a 24-pin socket, Bluetooth header for a front panel Bluetooth. You're also going to see 2 SATA 6G, 4 SATA 3G, and then these 2 here are for the ASUS SSD Caching. Now the X79 chipset does not come with Intel SRT, which you saw on the Z68 motherboards. So ASUS has gone and did it themselves, allowing you to use a mechanical and an SSD to boost your performance. So going to the bottom of the board, if we take a look at the bottom of the board, it's of course all your connectors for your USB, your front panel on your case. You have a TPU and an EPU switch, which is basically the TPU is for your instant overclocking and the EPU is for energy saving, of course. We come over this way, we do have a MemOK button, which will actually reset your memory configuration, actually kind of do a semi-clear CMOS with at least giving you the ability to keep the same settings that you had and at least get into your BIOS so you could change them if you had a bad overclock. Of course, this button up here resets everything. You have an on-off button on the motherboard and a reset switch, a debug, 2 PCIe X1s, and then 4 PCIe slots. This is capable of running quad SLI. When we come over to the back plate or the I/O panel, you have your speaker connectors, dual Intel Gigabit LAN. Intel uses their own module on there, so you're not going to occupy any of the PCIe lanes as you would do with other motherboards or using, say, maybe a Realtek or a Marvell. Of course, we have USB connectors, FireWire connectors, optical, and right here, this button is so you can change your BIOS without actually having the motherboard fully connected and running. You don't even need a CPU in this board in order to flash your BIOS. All you need is a 24-pin connector and an 8-pin connector. Make sure your power supply is on. Go ahead and place your USB key inside of the socket. Hit this and it'll automatically flash your BIOS for you. On the top here, we have our 8-pin power connector. And now let's go ahead and take a look at how many fan header connectors we have. We have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I want to say, thought I saw an extra one, but let's say 6 on this one. Now, it's very important with this specific chipset. If you're going to go into some extreme overclocking, you're going to want to have some good airflow coming over your VRM and MOSFET. So ASUS is giving you the ability to get enough fans in your case to actually cool this down. They do run very hot when you're doing some extreme overclocking. You're not going to be bad if you're, in the range of, say, 4 to 4.2 gigahertz, but anything over that, you're going to want some extra air coming around this motherboard so it cools everything off. They do run fairly hot. Okay, as I stated earlier, we have Bluetooth to Go 3.0. This is actually an extra module that comes with it. Now, if you saw our deluxe, the Pro motherboard, it's already attached to the motherboard via one of the points here, but because this has a dual LAN, of course they're going to give you an extra module for it. There's a header up here for connection. You take the actual Bluetooth to Go module, which has a connector in the back, and plug that in right there. Now what this will give you Bluetooth 3.0, and it'll also give you wireless capabilities. So with this board itself, you're not going to need to have an extra LAN card if you want to go wireless. Now, what denominates the difference between maybe, say, this specific board itself and maybe the Pro? When it comes down to the main specifications, basically everything is the same. You're still going to get the Digi Plus. You're going to get all the software that ASUS includes with this board. You're still going to get the same type of architecture. When you go up a step in the segment, what you're getting is, as I said, you're going to have this Bluetooth to Go, which is going to be an extra module and also give you wireless. You're going to get more connectors for it. You're going to get some physical hardware extras. So that's the difference in the denotation of it. Like here, the dual Gigabit Intel LAN instead of a single. So there's the differences in the segments. A lot of people don't realize, they look at a board, they might see a difference in price point, and they don't realize what, maybe physically it might not look different, but what's actually different about the board itself. So as you go up in the segment, of course you're going to get more accessories. You might get a little bit more hardware. You're going to get a dual LAN, and you're going to go up from there. Of course, ASUS makes their Republic of Gamers series, which totally is going to be a different looking, it'll in a sense look the same, but it's going to be different, especially with the heat sinks, etc., and all the other things that you get for monitoring voltages, etc. So as you go up in segment, you're going to get more. So it doesn't mean that they're taking away from the quality of the board. They're not doing that. They're actually adding more quality from what the base is and bringing you up a level. Now, we didn't take a look at the back of the board here. Back of the board, of course, as you can see, it does have a mounting plate for the heatsink on it. And of course, we do have a plate for the socket. So everyone, this has been our overview of the ASUS P9X79 Deluxe Motherboard. For the full review, please visit www.hightechlegion.com. Stay thirsty, my friends. We will see you the next time. Have a great day. Bye-bye.